Welcome to the Fitness Plus Technology Podcast for club owners, operators, and fitness professionals. Each week, host Bryan O'Rourke brings you an expert interview with a global influencer at the crossroads of fitness and technology. You gain the insights, tools, and inspiration you need to stay connected to the pulse for what matters most for your business in the age of exponential technologies.
Hello, listeners. Thanks for joining us today on the Fitness Plus Technology Podcast. I'm your host, Bryan O'Rourke. I hope your spring and approaching summer time is going very, very well and that you're enjoying the warmer weather. Today, we have another great technology fitness guest joining us from Denmark, Copenhagen to be precise. And I had the privilege of going there a few times and speaking to the Danish Fitness Association. Of course, Rasmus Ingerslev founded that. And, it's a really wonderful city with a lot of entrepreneurship going on. And we have today the founder of TrainAway, Kenn Gudbergsen, who is doing some very interesting things. We're going to talk about the IHRSA passport program and some trends in the industry space. And he has some outstanding advice for entrepreneurs that I think will be very valuable for some of you. So again, thanks for joining us. And without further ado, let's get to the interview with Kenn from TrainAway. Again, welcome listeners. We have a particular treat today. As I gave you on the intro, Kenn with TrainAway is joining us to talk about industry trends. Kenn, are you calling us from Denmark today or Copenhagen?
Exactly. I'm calling from Denmark and Copenhagen, and very nice to be here and talk to you, Bryan.
Well, it's great. I've been following you now for a while. Of course, I've had the privilege to get to Copenhagen a few times and know our friend Rasmus from there and others in the industry. I actually was able to speak to the Danish Fitness Association probably 5 years ago.
Cool.
So it's a really beautiful city. I love visiting there. So thanks for joining us.
Of course, it's my pleasure.
You're a fitness technology entrepreneur. And, in following people on LinkedIn and other content, I came across your post, how the fitness industry loses out on potential revenue in a dynamic global world. And you cite a lot of things in there that I think the audience will find interesting and appealing. You can find that article online, guys, and we'll put the link in the show notes. Kenn, explain some of your thesis behind this, and I'm sure it's related to the idea of your company, TrainAway.
You're very right, Bryan. So basically, that article is also kind of the fundament for why we started TrainAway. We live in a world where the health focus and the focus on staying active, so really, really positively affect the fitness industry. So the last many years, we've seen a very positive trend in the number of fitness members, number of increasing clubs, etc. I mean, being from Denmark and Scandinavia, we have extremely high penetration rates of fitness, of more than 18%. Fitness is very important to many people's life here. And at the same time, you have the trend of traveling, and more and more people are traveling. The last 10 years, the travel industry has grown by more than 4% per year, and it's a huge industry. And it's not only international travels, it's also domestic travels. Numbers show, or data show, that in the US there's more than 500 million domestic trips each year. These numbers are huge. Combining these two trends provides a great opportunity for the fitness industry. The fitness industry today is built around memberships, as it should be. The gyms should, of course, focus on memberships and provide a great service to their members. But that also provides a challenge for travelers when they want to basically find and get into gyms, because there isn't a focus on helping travelers.
Yes.
So basically, the article on TrainAway is about providing a platform that closes or taps into the gap, closes the gap between the gyms and the traveler, or the traveler and the gym, because there's a huge opportunity here. But there's no doubt that this will never be the first priority for gyms, because gyms should and is focusing on members. But at the same time, there's no reason why they shouldn't be able to help the travelers coming into the city if there is a very, very easy and convenient way to do this. But the way it's set up today, many gyms, or almost all gyms, have to basically note down all the information on the travelers coming in, just as much information as it was with a local guy who actually could become a member. And there's no reason for that, because a guy from Denmark coming to the US for a week or two will never be a potential member, but he would be a great visitor of my club. So there's no reason why there shouldn't be a solution that closes the gap between the increasing amount of travelers that want to stay active and work out and the clubs.
Makes perfect sense. That makes perfect sense. And so with respect to that, in your article, you talk about the idea of business as a platform. You talked about, the travel industry. You talked about Airbnb. And you mentioned the notion of convenience, because that's a big deal in today's world. How do how big do you think the marketplace is for these kind of services that TrainAway is providing, given these trends? Is it substantial in your mind?
I think it's very substantial, and it's a market that's, of course, very difficult to, as with all markets, right? It's very difficult to measure, but we estimate that the market opportunity is at least 1 billion euros. So I'm not exactly sure what is in dollars, a little more in dollars, but it is a significant market opportunity, and this market opportunity will only grow. Will only grow. Also because as I mentioned before, you have these two strong underlying trends, the travel industry growing, but also the health and fitness industry growing. But there is this trend in the fitness industry or in the society, actually, which is very hard to document, which is how important is fitness to me in my lifestyle. And I am 100% certain that today is many more people that, in the way they identify themselves, they say they are active and healthy, and fitness is a way bigger part of that than it was 10 years ago. And this is something that that also makes the opportunity of being able to stick to this active, healthy routine when you travel extremely important to these guys. There is studies showing that 80% of all millennials travels consider being able to find a gym and stay active a top 1 or 2 priority. This is an incredibly insight to how important staying active is for people who travel.
It makes complete sense. And so we know the market trends. We've seen the IHRSA studies, the global wellness studies, the growth rate. We've seen a larger and larger share of wallet going to fitness and wellness solutions. We see the trend of convenience becoming a bigger and bigger deal. What, and you're out there in the marketplace. Of course, we're going to talk about the IHRSA Passport program in a minute, but when you're out there in the marketplace talking to club owners, is this something that they're starting to understand the value of more and more and more?
Definitely. I mean, there's no doubt about that. Basically, if I should, boil it down, I think there's 3 main takeaways or value propositions that we hear from the gyms. On the one side is really this being able to easily attract more travelers and handle them, which is kind of where TrainAway came from. That's one value proposition that we see to a great extent. There's also the point in TrainAway or platforms making it easier to handle incoming travelers, by collecting the money, sending it to them. So the administration value proposition, the ease of administration, freeing up time to receptionists to focus on the core members, is also a key value we hear from the gyms. But I would say that the biggest value we do hear from the gyms is the ability or the want to be able to help their members, to provide an exceptional service to their members, not only when they are in the gym, but also when they're traveling. That is something that gyms are really buying into, being able to help their members stay fit when they travel. And there are many reasons for this. One is that it's a great service. That's one thing. But why is it a great service? It's a great service because it also helps the gym in the sense that churn is, of course, a big challenge in the fitness industry, as it is in many other industries. And we do know that a significant amount of the people who opt out or churn is after a period of where they did not work out, which is sometimes or a lot of time caused by a longer vacation period. So being able to help their members on one side and lower the churn on the other side of their members is just a benefit that is, it's easy to understand. It's very important to the gyms.
Yes, and so this is really relevant for IHRSA members. So for our listeners who know IHRSA, I think many of them do. It's the international body for health clubs globally, and has quite a large membership base in the United States and globally. And they've had a passport program for a long time, which gives their IHRSA member clubs members the ability to travel. But wisely, in the recent past, TrainAway has become a strategic partner with IHRSA in utilizing your technology to have the passport program be a lot more appealing to IHRSA members. Can you share what that partnership's about and how it's working out?
Sure. So basically, as you also described that, Bryan, the passport program is a service that IHRSA provides to its affiliate members who opt in for the program. What it does is that it enables the affiliate members of IHRSA to provide their members with discounted access to gyms when they travel. So and that's basically, that's why the strategic partnership between IHRSA and TrainAway is such a great fit, because we have the same shared value. We want to help the members of the club, which is also the active travelers, stay active on the go. And at the same time, we of course also want to help the gyms. So that's why there's such a great fit. So the basics of the program is that the members of the IHRSA clubs that are signed in or opted in for the passport program gets 25% discount when they travel and work out to clubs which is more than 50 miles away from their home club. And this 50-mile limit or home protection area is really to ensure that it is for travelers. So you don't go down to the gym right next to your home gym and use it. And this is something that we have had great response from both from the gyms, but also from the users who do definitely see why it is there. For the gyms, it provides an incredible service to provide their members when they travel. What we also hear is that actually a lot of the gyms use it as an active part of their acquisition of new users. They use it as a concrete benefit they provide the members. So it becomes kind of a something which gives them an advantage. And since we launched the program, the enhanced passport program, which we call it, it's a digitalized version of the old passport program, which is now on the TrainAway platform. That was launched the 1st of January 2019, so 5.5 months ago. Since then, we have had more than 950 clubs from the previous old IHRSA passport program signing up for the digital version, and we are getting new clubs onboarded from the IHRSA network every day. And what's really, really cool is that even though it's early days of this enhanced or digital passport program, we already see quite a lot of users using it as an integrated part of their travels.
Yes.
We get, even though that we, of course, and unfortunately not are in the whole world yet, we still get users, both, regular travelers, but especially also IHRSA passport users asking us, do you have any clubs there, or could you get any clubs there? Because I'm going to travel there and I would love to work out. And of course it's a disappointment for us that we don't have clubs there, but at the same time underlines the value we're providing them, and which is just incredible.
Yeah, it's a great move by IHRSA. I sit on the board of directors, and I'm very happy to watch the group put that together with you, because, for listeners that want to understand what this is and get involved with it, in the show notes, we're going to have a link to the passport program. If you're an existing member, listeners of IHRSA, please check into this. It's a great value. If you're not a member of IHRSA, it's a great reason to become a member of IHRSA. So we'll have this on the show notes because it's just a brilliant idea. Kenn, I looked at your background, by the way. So, in the last 5 years or more, entrepreneurs in the fitness space, in technology, there have been some very profound ones. Payal Kadakia with ClassPass, others. Of course, I could go on and on and on. And I see your background in management with PwC as a consultant. Tell us what got you here? Like why, where was the nexus of this? What drove you to a point of basically founding the company? Can you share that story for our listeners?
Sure, definitely. And I mean, the story is really starting from a pain point. I've been a fitness goer and a huge fan of the industry, and it's been a big part of my life since I was 15. And I, went by both my previous job, but also privately, I've been traveling a lot. And every time I was traveling, I was always deciding on where to go based on if there was an opportunity to also find a gym. And many, many times I have selected, a hotel which was not on the beach, but maybe a kilometer away from the beach, just because they looked like they had a better gym. But then coming down there, at least I have experienced that many of the gyms at the hotels are just disappointing. It's not something that they prioritize. It's something they really want so they can check off a mark at hotels.com. And actually what we have learned by talking to the hotels is that they would rather not have the gyms, because they would rather have a room that they could rent out day by day. So by having traveled quite a lot and wanting to stay active, I've experienced this pain of being able to finally get access to a gym many, many times. And there's no doubt that when you travel, you don't do it to go to a gym. But if it is an important part of your life, you will get it done. But if there's one thing that there is not enough of when you travel, then it's time. And you don't want to spend too much time finding a gym. And I started the company with a friend and our investor, and we all shared, this experience. Our investor was he just came back from 1 year of traveling the world, and the stories he tells about the difficulty and the difficulty of getting into a gym around the world was just, amazing. And we could not understand why there was not a solution for this. So that is the pain point that TrainAway is founded on, basically.
Yes, it's brilliant. And, we've done business with, a lot of different brands, as I mentioned in the beginning, in the Nordic region, in Denmark. I'm very impressed by the entrepreneurial spirit. I mean, there's a lot of great entrepreneurship going on in Denmark, in my experience. How has the environment been there in growing your company and starting it? How has that experience been for you in general?
I mean, this is being a first-time entrepreneur. Everything is new and challenging, but it's also very rewarding because the things you learn and the challenges you face are just so developing for you as a person, as a character, and as a leader. So it's extremely rewarding in that sense. And there is no doubt that entrepreneurship, not only in Denmark, but all over the world, is increasing. I mean, it's becoming more and more popular to becoming an entrepreneur, which I think is really good. I think it's a really, really good thing. In Denmark, we do have a great support system, in the sense that all the universities, or more or less all universities in Denmark, have some kind of startup hub or incubator where where they help you get started, which in my opinion was one of the hardest things. What do you actually do? I need to set up a company. I need to get a lawyer. I need to do some accounting, all these things, just to get started is the most important thing. And we have a great system for that. We also have a great system for from the government, or the government allowing you to apply for public funding, in the sense that this is soft funding, so don't go in and dilute you as a founder, which of course always is a bit tricky and something you need to think about at least. So they go in and have these public or soft funding options for you, which of course also is very important, because you do need money to get started.
Yes.
And there, and as I think there is all over the world, there is the network of entrepreneurs and startups in Denmark is incredibly strong. And even though I don't know all of them, so I don't know all of them by name, maybe I definitely know what the startup is doing, and we kind of know who each other is. So the community is just great.
Yes, I see it so much in the last 5 years or so, just tremendous entrepreneur stories in the fitness and wellness space around technology. So I really enjoy talking to someone like you. What would you, for our listeners, is there any kind of thought or advice you'd give to a fitness industry entrepreneur that, from your experience, having launched the company and in this stage of your growth, being a global business, what is there any secret or a little tidbit you'd want to share with somebody that's starting out?
Well, I have learned so many things, so there's quite a few, but I think we should boil them down to a few. I think the most important thing that I've learned is getting things done trumps everything. It's so important to get things done. Coming from a world where I was working within management consulting and advising within the strategy of the management level, it's a world where research and analysis and these kind of working methods is extremely important. It's also important to know what you're doing in a startup and in the fitness tech world. Of course it is. But it's more important to get things done, and it's actually more important to be wrong than not do something, because then you learn from it. Which leads me to, which is all about learning. You need to learn. In our case, we need to learn from our users, and we need to learn from the gyms. That's the only fundamental, or it is the fundamental feedback loop that we need to exceed at and manage, because otherwise we have no. That is why TrainAway will become a success, because we can do this. So being able to listen to your users is so important. And what I've learned within the fitness industry is also that getting out there, meeting people, building network, building relationships, even before you actually have a product that you're proud of, or even before you have a product that is out there, is so important. Because you need to build the trust of the people, and you do that by showing up time after time after time, and just being a nice, good person. And this is something that we have really been fortunate about, and we have been good at, and which have made a big difference in our journey so far. So being out there and getting things done and learning is at least 3 of the things I would highlight.
Great advice. Kenn, a great interview with you. I know our listeners are going to enjoy this. I think that TrainAway, what a great tool. The deal with IHRSA on the passport program, outstanding. And your story and advice on entrepreneurship, Kenn, I really think that's some solid advice that you just gave folks. So I know they'll value it a great deal. I'm sure I'm going to see you in Europe at the IHRSA Congress or at another event coming up in October, right?
Yeah, sure.
And I know we'll have in the show notes how to find TrainAway and some links around that. And, I'm sure our listeners will check out what you're up to. So again, thanks so much for making time from Denmark on your afternoon today.
Of course, it's been a pleasure. And, what a great job you guys are doing with the Fitness Tech Council. I mean, the knowledge you guys are gathering and sharing is so important, not only for the industry, but also for us as startups. I mean, great job.
Oh, thank you so much. I appreciate you. We'll talk soon.
Definitely.
Hello, listeners. This is Bryan O'Rourke, and thanks so much for listening to the Fitness Plus Technology Podcast. The podcast is made possible by the Fitness Industry Technology Council, a consortium of global brands working together to enhance the adoption of technologies in the fitness space. Our company, Videri Ventures, which is invested in Vertimax, Montezuma, Gold's Gym, Houston, Texas, and Fitness 24/7 Thailand, also underwrites the podcast, along with our service companies, Integris Advisors, Moon Mission Media, and others. Please feel free to share this podcast with your colleagues. And if I can be of any assistance to you, don't hesitate to reach out, bryanko'rourke@gmail.com, or find me on any of the major social networks. Have a great day, and thanks for listening.